Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Big Donch podcast, episode 21. This show will be shorter, once again, because, well, one, I'm by myself, and two, I wanted to get this podcast in, even though I was debating it because, well, just a rough day. I was on spring break last week, and the week before that, we were kind of having an easy week, but this week, stressful, getting back all into the sports. I'm sorry, not the sports, but the schoolwork. Sports, of course, too. Being on the rugby team and lifting and all, but I'm definitely glad to be back to that. But the school part, of course, nobody really likes school. But today we're going to have a fun show, though. We're going to keep it short, probably under 20 minutes. Once again, if you haven't known about this podcast, they're pretty short. No guests today. I decided to just go solo because of the minimal topics. But next week, definitely expect guests. I want to get Caden and Christian back on, talk about what the Final Four is going to be this week. Today, we'll be talking about the NCAA Final Four, Paul George's huge game back, and much more. Just a reminder to like the Big Donch podcast on Spotify, subscribe to my YouTube Big Donch, and follow me on TikTok, which is also called Big Donch. It will be greatly appreciated. So just like every show, we will start off with the NFL. Not much happening in the NFL, of course, with the offseason. A lot of big trades and signings already happened already, but there's still some players out there, which we'll discuss later on in the show. Of course, the big one that we saw yesterday was the NFL overtime rules, which, I mean, I know a lot of people are complaining, mainly the Bills fans, because they didn't really get the chance. Personally, for me, I mean, it's definitely cool to see, both sides get a fair chance, but at the same time, you really got to have the defense step up. The Bills defense did choke that Chiefs game. But I know if I was a Steeler fan and that happened, I'd definitely treat it as unfair. So unless you're in the really in the position as a fan or a player, it's hard to really judge it. I definitely do think, though, like both teams should get a shot. But I don't think it would be that big of a deal. I don't think they change it that quick, but it is what it is. We'll see more in playoffs. Games could be a whole lot longer, though, now in the playoffs, but that's all right. No more sudden death. We're going with both teams getting a chance. And that's why I had mixed feelings, because of the defense. Teams got to really rely on the defense, but nope. If you give a touchdown up like the Bills did or the Chiefs, you're going to get a second chance. You're going to be all right. Mixed feelings, but kind of leaning towards I agree with it. We saw the Eagles bringing back the old jerseys yesterday. I hate the Eagles, but I had to include this because those jerseys are insane. They're very, very nice. I know a lot of people are excited about it. That's why they're making a big deal about it. I know a lot of Eagles fans, of course. Every Eagle fan, I'm assuming, is excited for it. I don't know how they're going to – I don't know if they're going to make any altercations to it, or are they just going to keep it the same like they did the previous. I know, of course, those jerseys did develop over time. I know it's when Mike Vick was wearing them was completely different than when Randall Cunningham or the older players were wearing them. I know they changed it up a bit, the design. I think they could definitely make them a little bit nicer. The color stayed the same, but try to add more. I know they were a little plain back when I think it was the early 2010s when they were wearing them with Mike Vick, LaShawn McCoy, and Deshaun Jackson. Those are, of course, very nice jerseys, but I think, when now it's today's technology and everything, I think they can make them even nicer. So, even though I hate the Eagles, I am definitely excited for the jerseys to come back. So I mentioned it a little bit earlier. There's some good free agents out there. Number one that really sticks on top of my mind right now as a Steeler fan is Tyrann Mathieu. We definitely need a safety. He could definitely fill in that spot for us, and I think it'd be a great option to go after. He has few years left. I want to try to make up the most that we could. Giants probably, though, a team that could definitely use him after getting rid of Jabril Peppers. I know Hugo Jones is a wide receiver right now that's not signed. I know he's past his prime, but he could definitely be a good addition to the Steelers or any team as a wide receiver too. Cole Beasley, one of the best slot receivers in the game. Still surprised that he's not signed yet. He could be definitely a good option. Jimmy G, I know he's not a free agent, but he is potentially could get traded. I don't know where he's going to go. I know Seahawks are a big one, but after that, it's really hard. He's too good of a player to just cut and get rid of. You definitely could get a lot of trade value from him, but he's also not a good enough player to start him, of course, and do everything he could to get him. He's a quarterback that you can win with, but if you look at the past couple of years, I mean, the 49ers, in Jimmy G's defense, the offensive line was bad, and every time he went down, the 49ers were a bad team. He comes in, he plays full healthy seasons, and they make the playoffs and they make runs. And, I mean, of course, he made the Super Bowl a couple years ago with the 49ers, and then just this year made it to the NFC Championship. I'm sorry, NFC champ. Yeah, NFC championship. So I mean, yeah, they definitely could win with him, but he's not really the reason why the 49ers win. It's mainly, it's solid coaching, solid defense. Deebo Samuel, who was that team's MVP last year, George Kittle, and then they have good young running backs every year. I know they just got rid of Mostert, but they also kept they have Elijah, so he's definitely going to be very. I can't think of his last name. I drafted him too, and I even set him on the top 5 running backs between Elijah Mitchell, I think. Let me look that up real quick. Elijah Mitchell. Yeah, Elijah Mitchell. Yeah, I drafted him. He was hurt a little bit last year, but he had 963 yards on the ground with receiving yards of 137, 5 rushing touchdowns, 1 receiving touchdown. So, yeah, like I said, in my top 5 running backs, he's definitely a solid running back that those 49ers could have. But anyway, staying on Jimmy G, I don't know. He's too good to just get rid of and cut him. He's not good enough for a team to really put in all he could. The 49ers situation, I really don't think Trey Lance is it. I mean, we haven't seen much. He showed, of course, a lot of potential, but I still think it's a little too early for him. I'll be honest with you. I don't see him as like a Patrick Mahomes. I think he could turn like a Jalen Hurts where you start him too early and then he's still optimistic, or like Tua. I don't know. The 49ers, like I said, they should have never drafted. Like they'll be wasting a draft pick if they did keep Jimmy G though. Also with Trey Lance, wasting, I think it was a 3rd pick. Like, first of all, I've been saying they should have never drafted Trey Lance. They should have drafted offensive lineman. They didn't do that. Drafted Trey Lance, so they wasted a 3rd overall pick on Trey Lance when they didn't really need a quarterback. Their biggest problem wasn't a quarterback. Yeah, Jimmy G was a problem, but he wasn't their biggest problem. So what they should have done was drafted something to fill in their biggest problem, which was probably offensive line at the time. But also, you pick a 3rd pick overall. You can't just have him sit on the bench. You got to do something. I think it will be Trey Lance's team. I think Trey Lance will be a starting quarterback going into the season. We just got to figure out what's happening with Jimmy G. I know Jimmy G's probably not going to want to be on the bench. He'll probably sit out or whatever. Same thing with Baker Mayfield. I have no clue what's going to be happening with him. I know he doesn't want to play. He already said he does not want to play with the Browns organization. I don't blame him. I think the Browns are doing him dirty, even though obviously Watson is better. The way they handled it was definitely not the right way. I definitely want to see Baker succeed elsewhere, but I just don't know where he could also succeed. Maybe the Seahawks, the Giants. I don't really know after that, though. They're really struggling. And maybe even the Texans. I know they're really going with Davis Mills. I mean, he definitely has potential, too, but I don't know. I really wouldn't be too confident in him. Moving on to the NBA now. Paul George. Come back, first game played since December, 34 points, 4 steals. Paul George was always known for his defense, but it's never really talked about enough. With a comeback win against the Jazz, Clippers are trying to stay in that playoff area. Tyronn Lue, I mean, he's doing pretty good as a head coach this year. I know he's doing everything he could with injuries. His 2 best players being out. Well, now of course Paul George back, but then we have Leonard, who's out. Lakers are currently number 8, so they'll be playing for the play-in tournament, but maybe they'll try to make a spot for the actual playoffs. But it's gonna be hard. They're at 37. They're 6 games back from the Timberwolves, who are still in the play-in contention, and then Denver Nuggets have 45 wins actually in the playoffs. So it's gonna be hard. I doubt they'll make the playoffs. They definitely won't make the playoffs. But yeah, they'll be in the play-in tournament, and if Leonard comes back, I mean, they could definitely make a run. They definitely could. All they have to do is win that play-in game, and then everything can change. We saw with the Wizards last year, even though they didn't go far, they didn't even win the series, but they won that play-in tournament, and they had themselves a good little series. So Leonard comes back. I think the Clippers could make a run. We see the Clippers. The Clippers are definitely better than the Lakers with Leonard and Paul George back. They're probably better than them even without them. The Lakers now, 31-44, absolutely terrible. LeBron James being out, of course. Russell Westbrook. I mean, he's arguing with the media. I'm siding with the media. Listen, the media is there if the media didn't exist, these basketball players, these pro athletes would not be relevant. So they got to start respecting the media. They asked them a question like, what's they got to do to win or something like that. Russell Westbrook gave him attitude saying, you tell me or something. The media asked you, you're a professional athlete. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like these athletes, they don't realize, like, without fans, without media, like they're really not, like, I don't want to say nobodies, but they wouldn't be signing these $40 million a year contracts, these max extensions, without the media and the fans and bringing attention to the game. I wish we saw more players respect them. It wasn't even a dumb question. It was, what do you guys need to do to win? I mean, you guys have been losing for a while. Now you guys have been really bad this year. What do you need to do to win? That's a simple question. You're a professional athlete. You're supposed to be a veteran, Russell Westbrook. And listen, I like you, Russell Westbrook. You're one of my favorite point guards of all time. But you're not playing good at all this year. You need to step up. You're a veteran. You got to figure out. You got to answer the right way. He's always salty at this media stuff. And they're legit questions. And then they post them on Instagram and all, and then all the people are commenting like stupid questions. Oh no, in my opinion, they're good questions. Just because they're getting Russell Westbrook mad doesn't mean they're bad questions. They're real questions. Westbrook just gets salty. It's a good question. What do you need to do to win? You've been losing so much. You're out of playing contention right now. What do you got to do to get in there? What do you got to do to win? It's a simple question. And of course, you got mad. I don't know what they got to do either because I'm not a Lakers fan. I've been watching Lakers. But that's why you got to ask questions like that to the actual Lakers players or the coaches. It's not a bad question. Now I know I saw some like remove Russell Westbrook. That's what they got to do to win. I mean, I don't know about that. Their backup point guards aren't that good either. The point guard situation overall is bad. They got to do something with that in the offseason, but I mean, that was kind of funny too. You got to figure out, though, the Lakers, they got to figure out what they got to do with these next couple games going on, especially LeBron, their best player, of course, carrying that team, him being out. We might not even see the Lakers in the playoffs at all. Sixers lost to the Bucks yesterday. Giannis just being insane, having that game-winning block against Embiid. And, of course, that raises MVPs now. That cancels out Embiid's MVP race, apparently, to fans. You know, Giannis has one block against. I know I'm sure he might have had more. I'm not sure, but he had that big block against Embiid. That automatically makes Embiid. That automatically makes Giannis the MVP over Embiid. That's not how that works, but of course, you know the world we live in today. Of course, they see that Embiid's automatically out of the playoff MVP talks. And it's Giannis now for the next couple of days. This MVP race all year has been just crazy, up and down, up and down. It's been KD, Giannis, Tatum, Embiid, Jokic, DeMar, Steph Curry. I don't even know who else. I mean, LeBron. There's so many. Like, this is probably one of the better MVP seasons of all time. Like, there's so many good players who could be it. But I mean, just one thing happens, and they're on top of the MVP right now. If KD hit a buzzer beater tomorrow, I don't know. He's an MVP. Everyone's gonna be saying he's MVP. Giannis had that game-winning block against Embiid yesterday. MVP. If Embiid gets a 40-point triple-double with a huge win against, I don't know, the best against the Suns, he's the MVP. If Tatum drops 50, has another one like that, he's MVP. If Jokic does a behind-the-back pass, he's MVP. If DeMar hits another game winner, he's MVP. That's just what it is. It fluctuates every day. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess it could be a good thing that it's so competitive in the league. There's so many good players. It's exciting, but I don't know. We see too much recency bias with MVPs and everything. We throw the word around overrated too much. We throw the words around underrated too much. We throw the words around GOAT too much. And now MVP is starting to get like that. We're throwing the word around MVP way too much. MVP, in my opinion, and Big Donch's opinion, is you're on a team that's good. You're the reason why they're good. So let's look at LeBron and the Lakers. He's a very good player. He's playing one of the best. He's one of the best players in the league right now. Playing one of the best in the league right now. Playing the best in the league right now. But look at his team. Even though he's doing everything he can, he's not helping his team win. His team's just not good. So that's why you got to cancel out LeBron. As much as he is good, as much as he's playing probably the best in the league right now, his team isn't good. And that's just not an MVP. Look at KD. He's doing everything he can by himself, but the Nets aren't winning too much. So he's probably not going to win MVP. Giannis, he's winning, he's dominating, he's carrying that team. He's in MVP talks. Embiid, he was in MVP talks so much before Harden. Harden comes, they're rolling together, and Embiid's still playing good. Sixers are up there, they're winning. He's in MVP talks. Jokic, he's carrying that team. They're in playoff talks right now. He's doing behind-the-back passes, doing triple-doubles as a center. He's in MVP talks. DeMar, I wasn't too much on MVP for DeMar. Even though he's hitting buzzer beaters, he's going off. He's not the best. He's not really like the only person on that team. Like the Bulls would still be a good team without DeMar. So even though I'm not saying DeMar's bad, but we gotta be more careful when it comes to MVPs. My MVPs as of right now, my top three would be Giannis, Embiid, and Jokic. Three big men. Main reason why is their team's winning, they're performing, and 2 out of 3, which is Jokic and Giannis, they're carrying the team. without them, you take those two players out of their teams won't even be in playoffs. Their teams wouldn't be as good. You take Embiid out of the Sixers, they'll still be good, but not as good, of course, with Embiid. But it's different with Jokic and Giannis. So it probably goes number one, right, as of right now. I would say Giannis, even though I was mentioning with recency bias, but even if that didn't happen last night, he would be up there. Jokic, and then Embiid. KD not really staying healthy, and the Nets aren't that good. DeMar hasn't been doing much lately. Tatum, he's getting up there. He could probably be fourth right now. LeBron, of course. I mean, even though he's playing the best right now, his team isn't doing good, and of course he's hurt. So that's my MVP talks on the NBA. MLB, play ball. Can't wait. I think it's like 9 or 8 days till spring opening day, maybe 9. Spring training's happening. We're seeing a lot. Phillies looking okay. The offense is looking good. Defense, don't know. I haven't been watching too much. Of course, with the weird times. But yeah, spring training. So glad baseball's back. Phillies. I don't know who they open up opening day. I should look at that right now. Let's look at this. MLB baseball. Today they're playing the Tigers are losing 7-0, but I don't care about that. Let's see. Phillies opening day. Let's see. We're going to the schedule on MLB.com. Usually, they always win like their opening day games. Okay, let's see. I can't even see. It doesn't even tell me like that. I don't even know. Oh, let's go to April. Spring training, regular season. Okay, Phillies home opener against the Oakland A's, Friday, April 8th, 3 o'clock game. So, yeah, that's when the Phillies are playing. NCAA men's basketball, last topic of today. We're at the Final Four. Go Duke, beating, oh my gosh, who was it? Oh, my bad. They beat Texas Tech, correct? Or Gonzaga. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I'm saying this right now. It just went by so quick, that's why. Duke NCAA basketball. Beating Arkansas, yes. I don't know why I said Texas Tech. They beat Texas Tech the game before Arkansas. They blew out Arkansas. They played North Carolina, 8:49 this Saturday. North Carolina ending St. Peter's run, which, of course, very impressive run by St. Peter's. A small school with not much budget, beating Kentucky, then beating Purdue, but then getting blown out by UNC. But it is what it is. What could you do? Who else did they beat? Oh, yeah, St. Mary's. No, not St. Mary's. Murray State, they also beat, too, also. Kansas is playing Villanova. In my opinion, I'm going to go Kansas. And then for Duke versus UNC, I will go with Duke. We're going to see Duke versus Kansas in the national championship. I expect more talking from that, though, next week when I have Caden and Christian back on. Because, of course, we'll talk more about it when the game actually happens. So I think it'll be Duke. Well, actually, we'll be seeing the national championship that Monday then, actually. So, yeah, we'll have both the Final Four games and then the national championship to talk about next Wednesday. Definitely excited as a Duke fan. Go Duke. Go Blue Devils. Coach K's last run. I'm excited. That wraps it up, though. Quick show today, guys. 18 minutes, 30 seconds we're around right now. Thanks for tuning in if you listen today. It wasn't a good day that much so with the podcast, but still enjoy doing what I do. Hopefully I got my news across. Hopefully I got my opinions across. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my opinions, whether you agreed or disagreed. Still cool to be out here making podcasts. You listen to the Big Donch podcast. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube, Big Donch. Follow me on Spotify. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Instagram. I'm out, guys. Peace.